And welcome, folks, to this edition of the Hagmann Reports, Thursday, 9th day of April 2026. No, Steve Quayle won't be on tonight, so thanks for asking. If you're here for Steve, next week, maybe. We'll see. All right, hang on one second here. I got to knock that off the screen. Preview monitor. There we go. All right. So, I have a lot to talk about tonight. June 19th, 1962, just real quick, the U.S., here is Nikita Khrushchev speaking in Bucharest, Romania, saying that the U.S., United States, will eventually fly the communist flag, red flag. The American people will hoist it themselves. Here we are. The 1961 Senate Internal Security Subcommittee issued a 12-volume study, The Communist Threat to the U.S. Through the Caribbean. That was the title of the study. The finding: Castro could not have brought communism to Cuba except for the continual aid and assistance of the U.S. State Department. The reason I brought that up now, and Randy Taylor's going to join me, is because here we are. Here we are, over half a century later. And where are we at? In my view, we have an unfixable country because we have sat back. We, the conservatives, have sat back and just permitted all of this to happen. Meanwhile, we have states fighting with the federal government fighting against states. The judiciary is just, on a tear, out of control, black robe tyrants. Pretty much every institution is under suspicion. Not just that. You've got the points of higher learning, the places of higher learning infiltrated. We've known this, right, forever. It goes back even further than that. In 1954, Eisenhower put an order out that put 98% of federal executive employees off limits to congressional investigations. Now, why would he do that? Eisenhower. The guy who spoke of the military-industrial complex back in 1954 said 98% of the federal employees, you know what, you're exempt from congressional investigations of any kind. Communism and liberalism is a disease of the mind. It's a mind virus. It's a disease of the intellect. What's taking place right now across our country is beyond any description. FDR, I just want to throw this out there too, because historically, look, the path to where we're at has been laid and grazed and paved over and repaved and paved over again and refined. FDR said he actually read this this was read into the congressional record on September 22nd, 1950. If you are so inclined, you can find it at page A6832. FDR. I do not believe in communism any more than you do, but there's nothing wrong with the communists in this country. Several of the best friends I've got are communists. You can find that congressional record, September 22nd, 1950, page A6832. Yeah. So I can go on and on and on, but you get the idea. And then now we have the various states. So communism infiltrated and infected our country all of these years. It began with the Fabian Socialists. It began, so long ago. Now, of course, you know about the Overton window, and okay, but now in the sliding window, that is. Now you've got the governors of many states, communists themselves. I mean, look, you call them what you. They're not going to say, "Well, I'm a communist," but essentially that's what they are. We have a real friggin' problem in this country, a big problem in this country. Eric the Tech, before I bring Randy on, he's on deck right now. If you don't mind, hit. Let's see here. I set this again. Digital notes. Man, I'm not sure I can get used to this, but okay. Hit. I'll tell you what. You know what? I'm just looking at this. I'm rethinking my decision. Randy Taylor, come on board. How are you, sir, tonight? How are you?
Hey, buddy. I'm doing good. How's everybody doing tonight?
Good. I declared this as Casual Thursday because just because.
So I got rid of the tie.
Amen. I'll tell you what. It's just been a long week, and you've been pulling double duty, and I appreciate that. Look, Canada has gone full-blown communist. The U.S., I think, is on the verge.
They can call it what they want, but it's no longer a democracy here.
No, it's not.
It's not.
Nope. All right. So maybe the first thing to do, let's dispense with this. I had a couple of emails saying, hey, you know what? Let's dispense with the Epstein stuff right out of the gate. Okay. You can keep it with the other stuff we did, genetic experimentation, but then on the salacious side and then the operational side. I'll just end with this, or we'll end with this. Luna, her press conference some time ago. Now, this is not new. Okay. But she named Epstein's co-conspirators. And folks, understand the network that still exists. All right, absolutely still exists. And we're not going to spend any more time talking about it except this video clip. This will be video 1 in the show notes as soon as we can. That website's giving me a hard time, but nonetheless, we'll get it up there. Video 1. Anna Paulina Luna, Epstein co-conspirators by name. By name, here they are.
To be clear, we've had two individuals. One that accuses President Clinton of unfounded allegations of there being sex tapes, etc., by the name of Sarah Ransom. And there was an individual under the name of Katie Johnson that also had unfounded allegations of rape against our sitting president of the United States, both being claims that did not have evidence for grounds of that. And so just as we wouldn't call in an individual like Sarah Ransom, who we know made up claims, we're not going to do the same thing for President Trump. So I think to be able to bring that up and conflate the two with this investigation is wrong. And I want to be very clear on record. I don't believe that Sarah claims had valid claims against President Trump in regards to what she was, President Clinton in regards to what she was alleging. Just as I don't believe that there are valid claims against President Trump by the individual of the name of Katie Johnson. What I will say is it has become very evident, even in the last 24 hours in lines of questioning, that Jeffrey Epstein was running an intelligence gathering operation. In my professional opinion, I do believe it was a honeypot operation. And I do believe that there's a list of individuals who did engage in trafficking, were given these plea deals, and I'm going to name those individuals right now. The first one would be Leslie Groff. The second one, Sarah Kellen. The third one, Nadia Markova. And the fourth one, Adriana Ross. All of these women engaged in the trafficking of minors as adults. They were working and complicit with Jeffrey Epstein's operation. And in my opinion, they are not to be given victim status because they did partake in harming young girls. I remember seeing in some of the files, some of these girls were, as young as 10, 11 years old. and older. And so obviously we have a lot of work to do, but I did want to come and give an update and let you know that President Clinton, as of right now, is cooperative and answering all of our questions, and that it leads me to believe that if we can remove the partisan nature of this investigation, we actually might be able to get justice. And so I will be calling on the Oversight Committee to bring in those 4 individuals that I just listed. We will continue to conduct the investigation and provide updates shortly for all of you. We will provide updates as soon as it's over. I don't want to violate the trust that we have right now in the depositions, but I do think that we are at least getting a little bit more of a clearer picture. And I will say I'm not in favor, and if there is a request to bring in an individual who's made false allegations against President Clinton, I will be voting that down in committee, just as I will be voting down any individuals that are brought forward that have made false claims against President Trump. I do think that there is a bit of partisan smear attempts in this whole investigation, but it's important to note that Jeffrey Epstein does have all of the telltale signs of an intelligence gathering operation. I think we all know that. I do believe that because of the people in power and influence, specifically presidents, etc., that he was targeting, that there is an aspect of, foreign governments trying to pit some of us against each other using this topic. And so we're more focused on that, as well as bringing justice to the victims. And there is no justice when traffickers are given plea deals. And so we'll be following up on that as well.
Randy Taylor, any closing thoughts on that? Because, I mean, that pretty much speaks for
I agree wholeheartedly with her.
Right.
I like this young lady.
Yeah.
I've liked her since the first time I heard her speak. She's got what the men lack, we call balls.
Yeah. Some stories report that she could have been showing them at a club in Florida, but then what do I know? All right. Don't ask. Okay. Yeah, I just, with what's going on in Iran, okay, and folks, oh man, I'll tell you what, everyone has lost their friggin' mind. Tell me I'm wrong. Just tell me I'm wrong. That people in general have lost their friggin' mind.
Pretty much. Pretty much. They're going in 29 different directions.
Yeah. To me, all right, talking about this stuff is not doing it. Oh. And I'm about done because I'm about done. I got nothing else to say. I have nothing else to say really about this that really has any backing, has any meaning whatsoever. I think
the only thing you can do at this point, Doug, is your observations as good as the next guy's.
Yeah, exactly.
You know what I'm saying? Because nobody's really putting anything solid on the table. Interesting observations, that you can take away is I don't believe that the U.S. is dealing with any form of an Iranian government at this point.
No.
Okay, they're dealing with a faction within within Iran. And there's
you gotta quit drinking on here, man.
There's like 27 or 30 factions within Iran. And what you're seeing right now, and this is just my opinion, okay? I think that he's pitting one faction against another by dealing with one faction right now. So he's pitting one against the other and let them fight amongst themselves and destroy each other. That's kind of what I'm seeing. I can't verify that. That's a personal observation.
Well, okay, let's talk about Iran for just a moment here, because obviously you've got people losing their minds. And look, does Israel benefit from this? Yes, they do. But take a look. I think an argument can be made for the UAE benefiting, Saudi Arabia benefiting, especially Saudi Arabia, and some other power structures over there.
This is a case of powers using each other.
Yeah.
That's no joke. Serious. Israel's using the U.S. The U.S. is using Israel. The UAE is using Israel. And they're using the U.S. This is what's going on.
Well, and you look at Iran. Obviously, we installed the government back in '53, and then of course the the Shah came in, and then he was deposed by Khomeini, who came in from Paris in exile, coming into Iran. And then we had the Iran hostage crisis. They actually had two crises in Iran, but the one that lasted the longest was the 444 days of 52 American hostages. Okay, so you had another hostage crisis earlier on, but okay. So having said all of that, think about this: every president, every day, every presidential briefing since Reagan, and how that crisis was resolved, folks. I'll say it again: there was an agreement that was made, money was exchanged. Assets were unfrozen by Reagan in order to get the hostages. So that's, and it was orchestrated to be done, hours before he was inaugurated. So, okay. Then move to the second term of Reagan. And ever since that term, you had these presidential daily briefings and security threats analysis that said, hey, Iran, they want to gear up and kill us. So, as the 80s turned into the 90s, the Clinton era, of course, same thing. And then 2000s, now we have the AQ-Con network, the prolific Walmart of nuclear weapons. And really from George Bush, every day George Bush was in office, you had people saying, look, man, Iran, they're going for nuclear weapons. As soon as they get a nuclear weapon, they're going to use it against America every friggin' day. And what does George Bush say? Oh, okay. And then second term, oh, okay. And then Clinton, yeah, okay, well, and then, of course, Bush or Clinton and Bush, and then Obama, of course. What does Obama do? Obama is, pallets of cash to Iran. And then and again, placating Iran. And did they still want to kill us? Yep. And 47 years worth of attacks. And you know what? I got to say this. I don't give a shit, okay, what anyone says. Comments, chat, okay, you can, the people who don't agree with me, I'm not asking for agreement. I am not asking for agreement.
Don't care.
Not asking for you to agree with me. Okay. But you get to the point where, all right, you're Trump, and I'm not defending him, okay, but you're Trump, and you got nothing. Look, you're not going for a second term. You're friggin' almost 80 years old, right? And you get a little bit more cantankerous. Your filter drops, and you think it was bad before. Now it's much worse. Filter's gone.
Well, even more fun to hang out with.
That's right, man. Hey, take him to the bar.
Yeah,
knock a few back, and I'll tell you what, you get some action. But here's the thing. Look, I don't know. He hasn't called me this week, so I don't know. But I'm sure he's looking around saying, you know what? Earlier on, we better do something about Iran, because I certainly don't want to be sitting in retirement, and maybe a few months after retirement in my New York penthouse and seeing looking up and seeing a nuke coming in. Yep. It could have happened. I don't know.
He's got children and grandchildren, just like a lot of Americans.
Yeah. But look, if I was the commander in chief, you know what I'd do? I'd do the same thing. I'd say, all right, you know what? I get on the phone and say, hey, muchacha over there, Ayatollah, moron, raghead.
I warned you, son of a bitches.
Yeah.
That'd be about it.
Take it back. Quit threatening me, and give up the offensive. I'm coming.
I warned you.
Terror attacks. I just say this. I just want to say that we've had 47 years of terror attacks, compliments of Iran, IRCG, Hezbollah. On and on and on and on.
They have shed a lot of American blood.
Yeah. So, all right. So finally he says, all right, screw this. Doing it. Gonna knock them, gonna knock their weapons out. So did we do that in June? Yeah, apparently not. Apparently that was overstated. All right. So now what? Now we're going to go for the whole shebang. That includes regime change because I'll tell you what, you get enough of these morons over there, these mopes. Look at them here. Look at them here.
People have to remember too, Doug, that intelligence estimates change constantly. So as far as that's just a given.
Yeah.
So did we do great last June? Yeah. At that time, it looked really good. But then you find out things. I mean, that's just the intelligence world. It isn't like, oh, okay, well, that's done. That'll never happen again. Hey, it's over. It doesn't work like that.
Yep.
And Iran has been a constant source. When we were in Iraq, Iran had their hand in it, and people didn't realize that. A lot of those mortar rounds that we would find, those caches, okay, those were Iranian manufactured mortars. I saw the shells. I know.
Wait a second. Say that again, because that's important.
Because, all right, remember when Iraq was tumbling into what they called civil war? Okay, Shiite against Sunni.
Was that before or after we?
Oh, it's after. We'd been in there a while. Yeah, we've been in there a while.
Right.
And what was happening is Iran was arming and funding the Shiite side. Now, I can't remember the guy's name, the bearded cleric that came in, a Shiite cleric, and he was driving the driving force against the Sunni insurgent groups and the Muslim groups. Okay. But the weapons and caches that we would find, okay, were Iranian.
That's okay. You know what? I had forgotten a lot about that.
We've got pictures of this stuff. We've got photographs and films of this stuff.
Yeah.
So that's a fact. That's a fact. That's not speculation. We can prove that statement. Doug and I can prove that. We've got that. I know I have evidence of it, and I know I turned it over to the U.S. I turned it over to the people I was working with, and that they were like, right. Even they were a little taken back at first. They knew that Iran supported the guy, but they didn't realize the amount of weaponry that Iran was dumping into Iraq. And they wanted a civil war. Why? Because if they have a civil war and they can get a Shiite majority in there and get them in charge, guess what? They come right in with it.
Yep. And
they now have an Iranian-friendly state when Iran and Iraq used to never get along. They've been to war before. So Saddam Hussein did not like any. Didn't matter who was running Iran. He didn't like them.
And this is not.
This is just forgotten. People, this isn't news. This is.
I had, and forgive me for not remembering that. I should have remembered that because that was a big deal back then.
That was a huge deal, especially when we could prove to the extent that Iran was arming the Shiite. Whatever you want to call them, Shiite militia groups.
Didn't France have some fingerprints on that too?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Okay.
They were in. Yep.
Yeah. That's what I thought.
It's funny when you start peeling away the layers of an onion, what you find. Yeah.
Right.
And the old adage of the enemy of my enemy is my friend. There's a lot to that.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. And I appreciate you bringing that up because I had forgotten about that. I guess.
I can't remember the Shiite cleric's name for the life of me. It's just sorry. As soon as I started to talk about it,
we have documents.
Oh yeah, that's well documented. He put out tons of stuff. Yeah.
Do you know that
because Iran, we were trying to avoid civil war, and Iran was promoting civil war.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. Okay.
Yep. Because because they would take over power in Iraq if they could get that Shiite majority in there. Even when they started with their little Democrat stuff. Remember they tried to do a Democrat government? These guys, like in Washington, D.C., you disagree with somebody, you yell at them on the floor, and that's that. Over there in Iraq, they were going outside and shooting each other. They go outside and go, boom.
Although I can make an argument that that should happen here.
Well, I agree too. But they had the jump on us, man.
Yeah.
I had never seen anything like that. We had video of this stuff.
Oh yeah. There were. Oh yeah.
And I was like, this is another reason why you don't pretend that you're going to install a democracy in an Islamic state. Straighten up. All the people that bought into that, it's so sad.
Well,
that they believe the United States government.
And that was okay. So a lot. So, and folks, that has everything I think to do with what we're talking about right in today's environment. I think that's the same thing is kind of sort of happening, or the same mentality that fueled that is fueling the everything that's going wrong in America today. Mm-hmm. Okay, and yeah,
and just look at the radical Muslim people that you have in the legislative houses. Look how radical they are. Now picture that times 700.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
And that, I don't know what's going on in Iraq today. Technically, you know what I'm saying? It's things are, we didn't do anybody any good.
No, we didn't. That's for damn sure.
And we certainly attacked a country that did not attack us.
So
no matter how hard we tried to prove they did, it didn't work.
No. And so that goes back to PNAC, the PNAC document. And we all know this, okay? But it seems like now, here we are, we forget history. And look, I get the fact that Iran is not in the SWIFT system, or I fully understand the economic aspect, okay? The globalist economic desires for Iran. I get that. I'm not so sure that plays any part into what's going on today with President Trump. Now, I'm going to tell you something, though. Okay, so a part of this, okay, which, RT, this speaks to, and ladies and gentlemen, this speaks to how bad things are right now. Okay, and it's not at the hands of President Trump, although, in my opinion, again, when you get a certain age, I think I've reached it, maybe mentally, you start saying, you know what, I don't care what you think. I don't care. Okay? Because I just don't. And I'll say what I want to say.
Yep.
Okay? So that's where, to me, this is where President Trump is at. Okay, again, in my view. Now, are there people around him? Is there rot up and down? 100%. And I'm not so sure I'd want to be him, because he's got to be going to bed at night. If he does get to bed with one eye open, both eyes open,
staring at the ceiling.
Oh my God!
I can only imagine.
So, okay, so the newest thing, and I intimated this, I think this week, or yesterday, or this week. You got this narrative that's being pushed, and people, you know what? People are falling for this narrative. People are falling for this psyop. People are falling for this left and right. Influencers, podcasters, broadcasters, which is why, and I'm just going to come right and say this. I am what used to be somewhat pleasant and used to be talking about certain people and saying, hey, you know what? This is what this man said, or this is what or whatever. It's not like that anymore. It has been purposely destroyed. Okay? Now, there's no coming back from this. Did you see this, folks? And RT, I'm not even sure. I didn't send this to you, but did you see this? This is a Truth Social post. Folks, did you see this Truth Social post? Did you? I'm just asking. Anybody? Well, let's put it on the screen.
I haven't seen it.
All right. Yeah, this is good. Because, folks, let's see, this is page, would be the first page, Truth Social, President Trump. I spoke about Alex Jones and Robert Barnes, okay, going off the res, in my view. And, of course, people take issue with me saying, oh, they're right. Oh, okay. You know what? Good. They're right. Okay, keep your friggin' opinions to yourself. I'm not asking you. If I want your opinion, I'll ask for it. And I didn't ask for it.
That's the beauty of this country. We each are entitled to an opinion.
It's just like I gotta say this. I'm gonna bitch.
And listen,
I'm gonna make you want Steve Quayle back. Okay, I mean tonight. I'm gonna make you beg for Steve. I love the guy. He's my brother. Okay, seriously, man, I love the guy. I'm not digging him at all. Okay, because we talk about his response to critics and stuff, and I said, Steve, come on, man. So we talk each other off the ledges, right? I love the guy. He's my brother. He's okay. So anyway,
but I'm here tonight.
But yeah, you too. I mean, but you don't talk me off the ledge. You push me toward the ledge. Okay, that's by default. Okay,
I do not.
But here's the thing. Okay, I to me, okay, I did my level best last night, and we had a program that involved, and I know you were otherwise tied up. So we had a program that involved peptides and stuff, right? And the peptide technology, and man, I did my level best last night. I mean, I was trying to field questions. I know I didn't get to all of them, and then you got people that come out and basically know more than you do, and maybe they do, okay? But it's just something rubbed me the really wrong way. Folks, just hear me out for a minute. Let me bitch for a minute, okay? Something really rubbed me the wrong way. Because I felt like with some people, I could have said on a clear, sunny day, I could have said the sky's blue. And they would have said, no, it's not. No, it's not. Or I could have said, whatever I would have said. No, it's not. I could have said, hey, you know what? I've noticed a shortage of bacteriostatic water. Yeah, I'm talking about you, so pay attention. No, it's available right here. Well, you know better. Let me know when you're gonna. Let me know when I could tune into your podcast, when I can see your research results, when I could look at everything that you've done. Let me know, and and also let me demand from you, because I felt this yesterday. Demand proof. Demand this. Demand that.
Well, so you must have had a rough night.
No. I really no. Okay. There's so many great people. No, it wasn't a rough. Here's I think, and I mentioned this because I love Steve, and so you're gonna miss his take on this, right? Stuff like this. So I want to kind of make that transition from Steve tonight a little easier on you. So I'll give you some of what he does sometimes. But anyway, this is here's what I see. To me, I look at the things that are taking place in the country, and I look at this response, and RT and Eric the Tech and everyone listening. I'm thinking to myself, you know what? This is a microcosm of everything that's wrong in the country. I mean, when you look at it, because you got people, if I was Trump, I don't know how he does. Look, I don't know. I just don't know. But at that level, when you're the president of the U.S., the most powerful guy in the world, you believe me, you're going to take a lot, and you can take a lot. Mm-hmm. And you can dish it out too, as well you should. Yep. Go back historically, and some of the Grant. There's some presidents that really dish some stuff out. Lincoln, we won't get into that. But okay, so, but then you've got all of these ankle biters, and by ankle biters, I'm not talking about critics. I'm talking about individuals who have millions upon millions upon millions of followers, all of a sudden become ankle biters.
Nope. Just turn on you.
WTF is that about? I want to know. It's not MAGA anymore. Nope, not MAGA anymore. Burn it all down. 25th Amendment, his ass. Whoa, Alex, come on, man. Hey, you having a bad day, bro?
Yeah, I don't know. I totally agree with you, Doug. We've seen that for years. It's sad.
Look.
And it's sad when it's within our own party.
It's really, I believe it's a mind virus, and I believe it's a psychological operation at its core, and this is why I did those shows, which apparently fell on deaf ears, and I even sent some stuff out by their own request to some of the people named in this particular Truth Social. Okay, I'm just saying.
They know the truth. They know how it works. They know they're being worked, yet they walk right into it.
Okay. Yeah, so let's take a look at the Truth Social. Now, again, there's no coming back from this either way.
Let's dissect this.
Yeah. To the people listening audio only, I know why Tucker Carlson, Megyn Kelly, Candace Owens, and Alex Jones have all been fighting me for years. All been fighting me for years. Did you hear that? I know why Tucker Carlson, Megyn Kelly, Candace Owens, and Alex Jones have all been fighting me for years. Alex, pick up the White Curtis phone. Give me a call, will you? Just saying. Okay. Especially by the fact that they think it is wonderful for Iran, the number one state sponsor of terror, to have a nuclear weapon. Because they have one thing in common, meaning Carlson, Kelly, Owens, and Alex, right? One thing in common. Low IQs. Oh. Okay. Now look. Randy Taylor, opine in on that. What do you think of that? Just that first.
Well, he said he set the playing field.
Who said that?
Trump.
Well, I think the plane.
Yeah, but I mean, he went right out for the gusto. That's one thing I do like. He hits you hard in the first couple sentences. He doesn't wait till the end of the paragraph to hit you.
Now, okay, and keep that up there if you don't mind, because I want people to see this and folks, look.
And Carlson went off the rails some time ago.
Right. Now look. Is Gaza a genocide? Well, okay. I'm gonna act like some people act. Well, you show me the proof. I want to see. You know what I want to see? I want to see authenticated, time-stamped, signed off video. I want to see all of. I want to see absolute, incontrovertible proof. Now look. Do I think that there's absolute horrific things happening at the hands of the nation state of Israel? Abso-friggin-lutely. 100% I do. Do I think that their government is rotten? Just like ours. Yep. But I also think, and RT opine on this, do we not have a difference in morality? In core morality between the Muslims. Now, look, there are Christians, there are other religions in Gaza. Okay, 100% there are. Mm-hmm. Are they being victimized by 100% they are. Mm-hmm. Is it right? No, and hell no, it's not right. No, stop it. It's not right.
It's different. We have to recognize the different cultures, as you just said, as one of them.
But to make this argument on Carlson and Jones and all is to equate the morality and folks, look, if you are here for just the headlines and sensationalism and oh my God, the sky's falling, well, you know what? There's the door, and I've said that so many times, but I am just, you know what?
Listen, your morality.
Knock me off the friggin' ledge because I'm out of here.
Your morality levels change when you're in constant threat. And I don't know if that makes sense. It's like a soldier.
Yeah.
A soldier, you want to go through your whole life without killing somebody.
Yeah.
And then things change.
And believe me.
And your morality level changes.
Yes.
What Doug just said. I'm just giving an example of what Doug just said, and he's absolutely right.
But there's okay. So that is a big part. If you consider this like a pizza, that's a big part of the pizza. Okay, that's like more than half. Okay, Or I should say equal.
You have to look at this through, and this is why we were good at counterterrorism. You have to look at this through other than Westerners' eyes.
Exactly. Because you're talking about population. Okay, now understand this. They have no problem with pedophilia. Now look, I get the exception. You can always point to exceptions. I'm not talking about the exceptions. All right, their prophets, in quotation marks, had their prophets screwed a 9-year-old. Okay, so don't give me any shit. Yeah. And by the way,
and there's no way
I've earned my
that.
stripes because I had a friggin' fatwa against me until the guy croaked in 2025.
That doesn't lift the fatwa.
Oh, come on. Yes, it does. I was told it does.
No, sir.
Oh, fuck me.
The fatwa doesn't die.
Eric, don't tell my wife that.
Okay, we'll go with whatever story you told her. I remember when that was issued. When that was issued.
Yeah, I was. In fact, I was sitting. I actually, it was published in the Islamic Post, and I was holding a copy of the Islamic Post, proud as hell. And then they said, "Hey, you know what? Yeah, it ain't cool to be doing that."
No. Yep. Listen, it's about death and submission. That's it. That's it. Submit or die. Submit or die. That's right. Islam. Right. And anybody that tells you anything different is full of camel shit.
By the way, I just want to address something. No, don't get out. No. Just, you know what? You don't have to agree. You don't have to get out. What I'm saying is, we can disagree without being disagreeable. Okay, but when you become disagreeable and start slinging arrows and throwing stones and threatening to burn down my house, and don't do that. Just don't do that. Or bitching because I didn't do your work for you. So no, you're welcome. But just don't be disagreeable is what I'm saying. Okay. It's not hard. I mean, did I? Is it me?
And the Quran teaches this violence. It started out. Islam started out peaceful, really, more like a hippie group, and it became Islam.
I don't think Islam was ever a hippie group, but go ahead.
In the beginning, yes. In Mecca, when he first was starting out, he was more of an inconvenience for the neighbors, for the Meccan tribes.
That's true. And then he went to Medina.
He went to Medina, and then he came back looking for blood. Yeah. So what happened is the Quran, because people try to say, "Oh, well, the Bible's just as violent." Aha! Let me teach you something tonight. The Quran started out relatively peaceful, worked its way up to being violent in chronological order. The Bible was more violent in the Old Testament. And then when Jesus died on the cross, God made a new covenant with man. So what happened is Christianity became less violent as time passed. So you have these two conflicting things. Islam and Christianity going in opposite directions. Like if I want to invite you to church, I go, "Hey, my friend, will you want to come to church with me this Sunday?" And you say no. And I say, "Okay, cool. We'll talk about it another time. Hey, have a great week. God bless you." Yep. In Islam, true Islam, you'll be at mosque Sunday. If you're not, you're going to die.
And look at New York City, okay? The mosques everywhere now. And I remember being undercover in New York City and inside a mosque, inside the one specific, I was there, okay? And we were talking, I was listening to conversations about, when I say undercover, okay, brief, posing as a workman, if you will. All right. I wasn't like hobnobbing and pretending I was a Muslim. Okay. So, all right. So, but look at New York City right now. They've been conquered. They've got mosques everywhere, but no, they gather in Times Square and close on Times Square and bow to, do the prayer, right? The Muslim prayer. Understand what's happening all over the country. That's what they're going to be doing if they're not already doing it all over the country. Now, why is that? Because, well, really 4 years of Biden, Mayorkas. You got to look at Mayorkas, and also prior to that, RT, man, the Innocence of Muslims film project that led to they stated led to Benghazi. No, it didn't. Okay, but that was all, again, that was a psyop. Okay, so we, for the last really since 2001, we have been, as a country, being victimized by this Muslim invasion. And who's doing that? Well, the communists are doing that.
And to be clear, what I was talking about in an Islamic society, a true Islamic society, was what I was describing. Yes. How you'll comply or die. Now, in New York City and places where they're going in now in Western society, they come in with flowers and cookies. Okay, it's a little different approach.
Right.
Okay, but do not fall for it.
And yes, and I just, again, folks,
let me be clear on that. Okay, because they're in Western society. If they came in and said, "Hey, you're going to come to Mosque Sunday, or I'm going to kill you," some white guy's going to put a bullet in their head.
But you know what? They're not too far off from.
No, that's the thing. If you allow it to become a Muslim society, the things change.
Yep.
Look at London, ladies and gentlemen. Exhibit A, London. Used to be a great city. London is a toilet, an Islamic toilet, where they've got these rape gangs. They're horrible. They're horrible. And when the prophet, of course, it's okay because the prophet married a 6-year-old and then had sex with her. Oh, he waited till she was 9, right? But this is what you have going on in England. That's what you have in the UK. Why? Because they allowed the keys to the city to be turned over to a Muslim mayor. Now, guess what's going on in New York? Do you think the outcome is going to be any different? It can't. The outcome is never different. And when they turned London over to that Khan guy, Khan, Sadiq Khan.
Yep.
That piece of human garbage. Okay, and I blame Tony Blair for that.
And who was Tony Blair? What side was he reportedly on?
Let's go back and look at that. We're finding out that Islam has infiltrated these governments at all levels. Look at John Brennan.
Again,
John Brennan, the head of the CIA, is a stinking Muslim.
But no, hey, that's debunked. Snopes debunked that, or this or that. Bullshit. Okay, he converted back in his Saudi Arabian post, according to
people. The people around the campfire know the truth.
Yep,
that piece of shit. I can't stand John Brennan. I wish that they would drop an arrest warrant on his fat ass.
Well, and here's okay, so. This is why I am very concerned at this point. It's more than that. I mean, you saw the Truth Social by President Trump. Okay, so he took everyone to task, from Marjorie Taylor Greene. You can read that yourself. From Marjorie Taylor Greene to whoever. Okay, I mean CNN. He was throwing everybody under the bus in that post. I get that. Oh yeah, look at that. Okay, and here. Wait, I'll show you mine. Hang on a second. Ready for this?
I know what Doug says. We don't sell those. But here's to you, brother.
I'm not sure. What can you see that? Okay, whatever. I'm not gonna. Yeah. I ain't dead yet. All right. So, and this is what gets me concerned right now, is because when you look at the landscape, what are we doing, folks? Let me just ask you guys a question. What are you and I doing right now? What contributions are you and I making to correct this country where it's at? Are we doing anything? And I guess a follow-up question is, what can we do?
Yeah. What can we do? What are we willing to do?
There it is.
There. I think is what defines this. That's what's going to define this fight. This is the same question that they were looking at in the Revolutionary Wars. They were running around trying to get these farmers to take up arms against the king.
And you know that 3% number that's always associated with the Revolutionary War. Only 3% really were active. Mm-hmm. Do I believe that? Yeah, I suppose. I don't know if it was. I suppose that's an average, okay, in terms of. I'm sure there were pockets of resistance, heavily, different places. But okay, let's just say 3%. It's a lot. Now, when you look at the infiltration that we've suffered, look at the vast number of ideologically incompatible individuals that are living amongst us right now. Look at the number of ideologically incompatible lawmakers, representatives. They're not leaders. They're not leading us. They represent us, but they don't represent us. Okay? And look at the incompatible ideologies of the judges, of the various, across the board, all of this. We are now faced with a lot of difficult decisions, and I'm going to say this, and it's a meme out there. We're getting to the point where good men are going to have to do bad things, and I believe that 100%. And when I say bad things, I mean righteous. We're going to have a righteous fight against what's going on, because I'm not going to sit here. In RT, I mean, you saw this, I'm sure, in Canada. You saw this in the UK, where you say something on air, they drag you off air, they arrest you. You post in social media posts. Oh my gosh, they whip your bank account.
You got to be real careful.
I'm going to tell you something. You try that here, or you do that here in this country to the wrong person. I'm just saying, to the wrong person. Yeah. You're going to have an ass full of lead, or maybe a face full of lead. And is it? Okay, so is that where we have to get to? And again, this is a conversation. I'm asking these questions. Do we have to get to that point in order for anyone to say, okay, I've had enough? What's going to be that point? And I've often asked this the last several shows, weeks, months, whatever. I've asked this, what is it going to take?
Now there'll be a trigger point somewhere.
Okay, let me show you this. All right, folks, I don't know whether you saw this. Let's just say you're listening to this from Rhode Island, and let's just say you bleed red. Well, you do bleed red, but I mean, you're a patriot, you're a guy, you're a God-fearing gun owner, conservative, whatever. All right.
Rhode Island. The ones that can never tally their votes on election night. Smallest state in the country. They're up there for hours.
Yeah.
We're still waiting on results from Rhode Island.
Can't figure it out.
Is anybody counting?
No. We're letting the machines count
every election night.
So okay, did you see this, folks? From Rhode Island. Okay, where the heck is it? Yeah. Okay. It's video 5. Okay, now, well, we should go. Wait a minute. Is that video 6? Hang on a second. Let me look here. Because I was just twisted when I did this. All right, let's go to set this stage, RT. To set this stage, let's go to this one video. This video 6, okay? This is part 1, like of a longer video, but we're just going to go with part 1. This is being narrated by, or the front end of this is being narrated by somebody, I don't know. But think about this. Think about when this happened back in the early 90s. And think about where we are today. This is an important Second Amendment story. But again, a lot of people right now who are taking us down are young and don't know history, or old, don't know history, don't care, whatever the case might be. But I remember this. I saw this. I thought, yeah, I remember where I was, generally speaking, because I was working on the road back in 91. When I heard about this incident, but it was 91 or 92. Again, let's listen to it. This is watch this, cut 6. Listen to this woman, watch this woman. and then we'll go to Rhode Island. But this is all over. I mean, this is, I want you to kind of crawl into this woman's mind. Cut 6, here it is.
This woman right here is Chuck Schumer and the entire Democrats' worst nightmare, as she completely dispels and fights back against one of their main talking points. You've got to check this out.
In 1991, my parents and I went to have lunch at a local cafeteria with a friend of mine that was managing the cafeteria that day. We'd finished eating when all of a sudden this guy drove a pickup truck through the floor-to-ceiling window. It came crashing in and ended up maybe 15 feet from me. Of course, we thought it was an accident. And I rose up and began to go help the people that he had knocked over. But then we heard gunshots. And my father and I immediately got down on the floor. We turned the table up in front of us. My mom got down behind us. And the shooting continued. Now, at that time in 91, we weren't seeing these mass shootings that we're seeing now. So I was waiting for him to say something like, all right, everybody put your wallets up on the table. Or I thought maybe it was a hit. Maybe there was somebody important in there. But the shooting continued. I'm going to tell you, it took a good 45 seconds, which is an eternity, to realize that the guy was simply going to walk around, take aim, pull the trigger, go to the next person, take aim, pull the trigger. He was executing people. When I did realize it, I thought, I've got him. I've got this guy. I reached for my purse that was on the floor next to me, realized I had a perfect place to prop my arm. He was up. Everybody else in the restaurant was down. And then I realized that a few months earlier, I had made the stupidest decision of my life. I had begun leaving my gun out in my car because I did what most normal people would do. I wanted to be a law-abiding citizen. I didn't want to get caught with a gun and maybe lose my license to practice. I remember looking around and thinking, well, great, what do I do now? Throw a salt shaker at him? At that point, my dad took my attention, and he started to raise up. He said, I've got to do something. I've got to do something. He's going to kill everybody in here. And I tried to hold him down by the shirt collar. But when he saw what he thought was a chance, he went at the guy. You have to understand, though, a man with a gun in a crowded room has complete control. My dad covered maybe half the distance, and the guy just turned and shot him in the chest. My dad went down in the aisle maybe 7 or 8 feet from me, and he was still alive and still conscious, but as dreadful as this may sound, I saw the wound, and I basically wrote him off at that point. The good news is that it made the gunman change directions slightly. Instead of coming directly toward me, he went off to my left. And at that point, somebody way at the back of the restaurant broke out another window. And I remember hearing that crash and thinking, my God, here comes another one. But instead, I saw people getting out that way. So I looked up over the top of the table. When the gunman had his back to me, I stood up. I grabbed my mother by the shirt collar. I said, come on, we got to run. We got to get out of here. And my feet grew wings. I made it out that back window, ran into my manager friend that was coming out a side door, and he said, thank God you're all right. And I said, yeah, but Dad's been hit, and it's really bad. And I turned to say something to my mother and realized that she hadn't followed me out. Now, to wrap the story up, the police officers, several of them were patients of mine, told me a few days later they filled in the gaps. They said that they were actually one building away in a conference. And in an odd twist of gun control fate, the hotel where they were having their conference, the manager there didn't want them to be wearing their guns and potentially offending any of her clients or customers. So she had asked them to leave their guns in their cars. So precious minutes were lost while they retrieved their guns from their locked cars. They said that when they got over there and worked their way in through the broken window behind the pickup truck, they didn't know who the gunman was. There were bodies everywhere. But they said they did see a woman out in the aisle on her knees cradling a mortally wounded man. They said they watched as some 30-something-year-old man walked up to her. They said she looked up at him. He put a gun to her head. She looked down at her husband, and he pulled the trigger. That's how they knew who the gunman was. They said all they had to do was fire a shot into the ceiling, and the guy immediately rabbited to a back bathroom alcove area. He exchanged a little gunfire with them and then put a bullet in his own head. 23 people were killed that day, including my parents. It didn't occur to me at the time, but Mom wasn't going anywhere without Dad. They had just had their 47th wedding anniversary.
Okay, cut right there. Enough said. I mean, imagine that, okay? So that's Killeen, Texas, back in October 16th, 1991. 23 people were killed, 27 wounded. Imagine, so, okay, this is, to me, that was sad but great on so many levels. Think about, you got a CCW, or you're in a place where you're allowed to carry, you can carry. And for whatever reason, you don't. I've been there, okay? I've been there myself. Not so much anymore, but I've been there where go ahead.
I remember visiting down there with you, and I had my family with me, and we all went out to Olive Garden. And I know that Eric and Doug are armed. Yep. And I felt so much safer and so much better because I'm just visiting. And I felt so much safer and so much better knowing that the two men at the table that I'm having dinner with and our families, that they're armed. You know, because we're in a world where you don't know what's going to happen.
But so think about that environment back in 1991, and something happened locally around the same time where, well, actually it was 99, where a teacher up here the teacher / principal was shot. Eric, I think you probably remember that, but anyway, but the mindset of everyone. Okay, so here, and by the way, Nomad on X, thank you. Thanks for your comment.
I do remember that.
Yeah,
and many of my friends were at that shooting.
Okay, George, or I'm not going to name the perp's name because I'm just not. But yeah. So what kind of impact did that have on you, your friends, anyone that was there? I mean, did they turn anti-gun? Did they turn pro? I mean, the nuts and bolts of the story was a teacher unarmed at this dance or event, party, whatever you want to call it, was shot by a student. Right? I mean, simple as that.
My buddy apprehended the perp with a shotgun.
Oh, well, that
should tell you a lot.
Oh, did he go out in his vehicle and grab it?
He didn't have it in his belt.
It was the business owner's son of the location.
Okay, that was okay.
Because I remember as a kid, Doug, where I grew up, the guys had pickup trucks and shotguns and rifles in the rear window.
Right.
And we didn't have problems. Never once did a gun go in the school, except I remember where this one black kid brought a 38 in. They found it in his locker. But I'm talking about all the country boys. I grew up, the farmers' sons. They all had shotguns and rifles in the back of the window. There was never a problem. We never had an incident.
No. And you know, when I was in school in the final years, I mean, I remember, the culture, and again, folks, to me, this is kind of speaking to today, but back then, I remember there was the professors and staff would have their lounge, and we would have a lounge where you can go in and smoke and have a cup of coffee. And there were students that they didn't carry, but they had weapons, right? I mean, like you're talking, right? They had weapons.
Yeah. It was normal. I mean, we used to go out and have parties, man, out at the country roads. We'd close down an entire section of road out in the middle of the boondocks. People were drinking and partying and having all kinds of fun. Never once was there a gun incident.
So, okay. Now, again, so that was what, 1991, 35 years ago. Is my math right? It is right. Okay.
Oh, man. Yeah.
It's yeah. So now, okay, I ask you to examine the last 35 years. So the last 50 or 40 because, let's see, I'm not going to do the math, 45, 50 years. We'll say 50. From that culture that Randy Taylor is talking about to where we find ourselves today. You don't dare. I mean, carry a gun. You don't dare light a cigarette or vape or whatever, okay, anywhere in public, that you will be tossed to the ground. Now, I'm not advocating any any vices. Okay, I'm not advocating that, but what I'm saying is we've allowed these people to define the parameters of our lifestyle, right?
And our safety.
So when you cede CEDE certain ground, I think you lose a heck of a lot more ground than what you're actually ceding, regardless of the topic. So, okay, so you saw that from 1991. That should have been, hey, you know what? Where the hell was I? Damn, I didn't bring my gun. And then, of course, the cops meeting next door. You can't bring your guns in here. It makes people uncomfortable. You know what I was said? F you. No, because, and I'll give you a little secret, guys, if you're listening to this. If you find me in a no guns allowed zone, I guarantee flipping to you, I'm going to be armed. Because I ain't going anywhere where I can't carry. You know what? You can try me. I'd rather be tried than carried, or see a family member or a loved one or someone else, a young child, being carried out. So this brings us to Rhode Island, and this is soon we are all going to confront this very issue. If you go to, how come this is? Hang on a second here. Eric the Tech, can you put up that? What the heck? Can you put up the? Hang on a second, I got an issue. Let me see here. Can you put up the Rhode Island thing? It's in the show notes. Oh man, I'm losing power. I need power, Scotty. Hang on.
I'm giving it all we've got, Captain.
What happened here?
I don't know. There's something on the screen.
Okay. All right. So okay. Rhode Island H8073. You cannot own or possess or even think about, apparently, a semi-automatic weapon. Now, let's just say you do. What are they going to do about it? Well, let's take a look at the council meeting or the committee, House committee meeting up there in Rhode Island. And let's just see what this intellectual star what the remedies will be, according to this intellectual star. Go ahead and hit the play button.
This evening, I am before you to present H8073, the Unlawful Possession of Prohibited Firearms Act. This bill is straightforward. Last year, we as a body banned the sale, manufacture, and transfer of certain assault weapons as defined in that law. That was an important step, but it was only a partial one. We should be honest about that. Right now, our law draws an arbitrary line. We have said that these firearms cannot enter the marketplace going forward, but we continue to allow them to remain in circulation indefinitely. That undermines the very policy we put in place and makes enforcement more difficult. If these weapons are too dangerous to be sold in Rhode Island, then we really should have possession at the same time. We didn't, and this bill corrects that. This bill is narrow and targeted. It does not expand definitions. It applies only to firearms already covered under Rhode Island law. It simply addresses one word: possess, while also extending the amount of time for individuals who currently own these weapons to come into compliance by selling or transferring them lawfully. And we should be very clear about what we're talking about. These firearms are designed to increase rate of fire, improve accuracy, and maximize harm in a short period of time. They have been used in some of the deadliest mass shootings in this nation. Rhode Island has already realized that, and we have already said that these firearms are too dangerous to sell. This bill follows through in that decision and says that they are too dangerous to possess as well. that I'm going to address directly what will be raised, and that is the takings clause in the Fifth Amendment. We should not use this as a reason to avoid acting. Courts have long recognized that when the state regulates dangerous items in the interest of public safety, it is exercising its police power, not taking public property for private use, or not taking property for public use, And we are not breaking the laws here. There are multiple states that already regulate or prohibit the possession of assault weapons. So the idea...
Okay, you know what? I can't take this. Go ahead.
That voice alone,
yeah,
will make you insert a 20-round magazine into your weapon. That's like nails on a chalkboard.
I'll tell you what, and you know this,
that liberal twang.
And okay, since you got beyond that, just for a second, hold that Rhode Island thought for a second, folks. Have you noticed the recent? And I say recent, maybe it's been brewing for a while, but that uptone, the upward inflection that women use, have you noticed that? Okay, now,
like you're talking to me, and I'm 3 years old.
It is the most great. Folks, is it me, or does that just want to make you gouge your own ears off? But
I guess that makes you lock and load.
Oh, man. So in behavioral,
maybe it'll go away.
But when you look at behavioral analysis and you look at statements and stuff, or you look at the body language and then assess the linguistics of the person. Oh my gosh! So you have to factor in cultural aspects, and John Navarro, just tremendous body language expert and linguistic expert, talks about that, as well as Paul Ekman did in his group. But man, it's so, notice that as and this is especially for liberal women. I want a study done, RT, whether that is more prevalent in women holding liberal ideological, because I just want a study done on that.
Because it sure seems like it.
It does. Mm-hmm. And I don't know what it is. I watched a lot of videos of interviews of Supreme Court, or of some judicial nominees from the recent few years, and it seems like all of these women have that. Mm-hmm. And some guys, but that's, but okay.
Another story unto itself.
Yeah. All right. So getting back to Rhode Island. All right. So what this woman is saying basically is, okay, H8073, this bill. Yeah. It widens what this bill does and has done, and what they've already done is widen the classification of what is an assault rifle or assault weapon. Now, what they're addressing is, okay, so what happens if you don't follow the law and you happen to just, I don't know, you happen to have your Smith & Wesson 9mm at your house, which is now illegal to possess. And what this woman is doing, and what Rhode Island is most assuredly going to do, is make you the status of a criminal. And if your neighbor, hey, maybe your wife, maybe your ex-wife, maybe your son, maybe your nephew, maybe, I don't know. They call up the cops and say, he's got a prohibited weapon there. Mm-hmm. So this allows the police powers of the state of Rhode Island to come in, bust your door down, take your weapon, and haul you off to jail.
That sounds so Canadian. That's what they're doing. That's what they're going to do up here. They tried to do a gun buyback and all that, and pretty much the population gave them the middle finger. Wow. Like after importing, millions and millions of these killer immigrants from all over the world, people are going to now start turning in their weapons. I don't think so. and they're not. So now they're talking about going door to door and doing house searches and seizing your weapons.
You know, I wonder how that's going to work out.
I just think they're going to open the wrong door and get their heads blown off.
Okay,
Something
so
like that just isn't going to work.
And then what? Okay, so
yeah,
you know,
what I don't understand is they just can't seem to accept that a bad guy's always going to be able to get their hands on a weapon. They just can't absorb that. They can't comprehend that. They refuse to admit that. You're not, when you take weapons, the only ones you're helping is the bad guys. Man.
Exactly. And
it's just the math isn't there.
Yeah. So from a psychology, and I don't have any degrees in psychology. So, but from a psychological point of view, in my uncertified psychological analysis opinion, we have been conditioned to accept these prohibitions, whether it be weapons or folks, think about this: cash for clunkers. Okay. You talk about a psychological operation. I want you to just think about that. What did that Muslim tranny and her husband do? Obama, I'm referring to, on the cash for clunk. What was that all about? That was deep. That wasn't about taking your eyesore out of your front yard. That was about you surrendering willfully, because we were all dumb shits back then, but willfully surrendering your vehicles to the extent where now you can't buy parts. I mean, what they did to those vehicles for cash for clunkers, and yes, this is related. Gone. They obliterated every one of those vehicles. But why did they do that? Why?
They crushed them and sent them to China.
Well, yeah.
Seriously.
But yeah, no, I know, but why? What was it? Because they wanted you to have the 200 or whatever bucks it was for that eyesore? No. What it did to the car or the economy with respect to cars. Okay, try to. If you have a classic, a muscle car, try to buy a part for that now.
Yeah, and those cars ran forever.
They ran forever.
And now you have 5-year cars. By the time your payments run out, your car dies.
So just like the washer, it kicks it. You remember Maytag Man? How about the TV repair man when they would come in with extra tubes? Yeah, I know. Yeah, but okay. Tubes. It's all about ball bearings. Fletch.
Yeah, I remember. In the airplane hangar.
Yeah, it's all about ball bearings these days. Yeah. What's the matter with you? But anyway, with the teeth. I love the teeth. Fletch. Come on. You guys got to love Fletch, right?
Oh, yeah. He's great.
So, okay. So this is taking place all over the country. Look, I get it. And to show you how far we've fallen, I just got to toss this in there just as kind of a mental wash, if you will. This is from, hang on a second. This is from Eric the Tech. I sent this to you as an extra. It's not going to be in the show notes. So.
And as I recall, right around that same time, wasn't the government getting into the car business?
Well, you had the push for the electric cars and the clean energy, the climate, the
bailouts.
There was yes.
Yes, that's what the U.S. got when the government got in the car business.
And which also, I know the way my mind works. Again, I think I've been talking too much to Steve Quill. God, I love the guy. But okay, so that made me think of Fast and Furious. Okay, and Fast and Furious, boy, with the guns, and there was some really bad stuff Anyway, think about Fast and Furious just for a moment. Okay, back up. For this mental clarity mind wash, Eric the Tech, do you mind playing that feel good clip? This is from think about this, Boston, 1950. 1950. I want you to take a look at this. I don't know if this was compiled or if this was somehow, I believe this was used as a promo. It's 40 some odd seconds, or 50 seconds long. That's all it is. But watch and enjoy and long for this. Here it is.
Boston skyline bids welcome as it looms over the Charles River Basin. Tulips in the public gardens signal another New England springtime. Red Sox fans have had a long winter's wait, and they're always eager to be at Fenway for opening day. Yes, sir, let's go to the ball game. We're outside with the crowd right now on the Jersey Street side of the park. Time for that program, though. That scorecard, peanuts now. Baseball and Gansett a bit later. It's the opening of another baseball season, and the usual colorful ceremonies get things off to a good start. And another season is underway as the Boston team breaks onto the field. Well, here's the first pitch, and the season is officially underway. We appreciate your loyalty to the Boston Red Sox.
Now, come on, admit it. That had to make you feel good, didn't it?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. But you know what? I just want to toss this in there too, and RT, we can move on. But it's interesting because the 50s were really interesting, and when you look at just think about the Korean War, and think about the Korean War and what's going on with Iran right now. But think about the Korean War, the Korean police conflict, or whatever you want to call it, right? The truce agreement that was signed on July 26 of 1953, it was Peace with Honor. That's what it was titled. And if you study what was going on with Korea and with America at that time, Eisenhower abandoned over 400 U.S. soldiers in Chinese prison camps in Korea. You look at the events around that time and events that have occurred subsequent to that. It's no wonder we are where we're at. And I had mentioned this before, and I'm going to turn it back to you. During the McCarthy era, and a lot of people use McCarthy as a pejorative.
I was just thinking that McCarthy era.
Look, I'm going to tell you something. McCarthy was dead nuts accurate.
He was right on it, and exposing it. And guess what? Hollywood was a perfect place to start.
And see, correct. So,
but what
Hollywood did.
Look at that toilet since then.
Oh.
Man.
It's nothing but communist and woke ideology. But here's what happened. What the undoing of McCarthy was the media at the time. And think about this. Apply this to what's going on today with President Trump and with other people trying to bring back the America. And again, you may debate about how he's trying to do it or how he's doing it, and you may not agree with the methods. I respect that. Again, you don't have to agree with me. I don't have to agree with you, but we can agree not to be disagreeable. Okay, but think about this. The New York Times just obliterated. They orchestrated this. Well, they orchestrated public opinion by distorting absolute facts against McCarthy. Okay. I'm not going to go through. I've got a list of things. Hollywood misrepresented him. New York Times, Washington Post, other publications. And this was a concerted effort to mischaracterize everything that McCarthy stood for and also the facts. So when you look at what's going on with President Trump today, the same operation, okay, against McCarthy is against President Trump and against the others who are trying to bring back what you just saw in Boston.
The real America.
Yeah. And think about this. In 1950, when that was shown, hey, I'm just stating facts. Facts are facts. And you know what? You don't agree. You don't have to agree with them. These are just facts. 1950, Boston was 97%. Was occupied. The census in 50, or the demographics, 97% were American-born white families.
Yep. And
Today,
look where we're at today.
44%.
Jeez. We're a
44%.
culture. We are a multicultural toilet.
Yep. So
it's gone off the rails. It's gone off the rails. It's gone past respecting anyone. It's off the rails.
Who's the mayor of Boston? What's her last name? Wu?
Yeah.
Wu. Chinese, right?
Yep.
Just saying.
Look around. Look at Congress.
Mm-hmm.
Look at the garbage we have. These Muslims we have in Congress. Mm-hmm. How the hell is that ever allowed? Now, noticeably, there's never been a Muslim senator. People don't realize that. There was one that ran for it. But didn't make it in. We haven't had a Muslim senator
yet.
That will change. It's just look. You guys want an example? Look up in Canada. Look at what's happened up there at Parliament. You look at a picture of Parliament. It is a disgrace.
Yeah.
And that's what's going to happen in the United States if we don't get our hands on it quick.
Right. So okay. Again, we're identifying problems, but but again, here we are being pushed into this untenable position. We cannot exist. We cannot coexist with the people who are in charge of cities and school boards and pushing pornography and perversion down our throats. We cannot coexist with an unjust Justice Department. We cannot coexist with any of this, and we have to do something, and that's something I'm afraid is going to have to be very, very decisive by some patriots. Okay. Okay. Now.
And how they'll be labeled. See, that's what people are afraid of. But didn't Obama say that one man's terrorist is another man's freedom fighter?
I'm not sure if it was that Obama.
Yeah, it was Obama. I remember he was talking about the Taliban.
All right. Well, let's go with that then.
You just have to be afraid. Look at our forefathers. Look at our forefathers. Just do a couple searches on the internet if you don't know anything about them, and look at what they went through to establish this country, this gift from God. This gift from God. I mean, come on. God was behind it. He took it for a bunch of farmers, colonialists, beat the British Army. That was unheard of.
The average fighting age back then was, I think, it was 21 or 22.
Just kids.
Yeah.
Babies, man. I look at kids today. God, I was 17 years old. I was in the Army. And I look at 17-year-olds today and it scares me.
Me too.
I'm serious.
I look at some 35-year-olds and it scares me.
Well, that's what I'm saying. God, I remember talking about having to grow up fast.
Okay. So you saw that very nice Boston environment. That really was Americana, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, now let's go to cut 4. Because see, as if fraud wasn't bad enough in Minnesota. Twin Cities, specifically Twin Cities. As if all of this Waltz and his lunatic wife and Frey, all these people, Take a look at this. This is cut 4. How much,
media reporting on this ordinance as like a scary thing about to happen. Adult bathhouses legalized in Minneapolis. People are going to go crazy. What? I'm heartbroken because of the rhetoric that I hear about our LGBTQ community. Our city was incorporated in 1867. This is almost a 160-year-old city. There are plenty of laws on our books that are racist, that are xenophobic, that are homophobic. And it's important that we meaningfully and thoughtfully undo those so that our stated policies and laws at the local level do not harm the very people that are under attack by our federal government right now. LGBTQ people are under attack by our federal government right now. We presented an honor resolution this morning recognizing Transgender Day of Visibility because the federal government and state government around the country are trying to legislate trans people out of existence. LGBTQ people are under attack by our federal government right now. And at the local level here in Minneapolis, where we are so proud to have been the first city in the country to recognize the rights of LGBTQ people, the civil liberties of LGBTQ people, that history in this city, and we're turning around and spreading homophobic rhetoric from this dais?
Please don't ascribe motive.
I'm not ascribing motive, Mr. President. I am stating a fact.
I don't even know how to
This is time for us to look inward.
This is some puke from a university
And then I'll
somewhere.
end
This is
with
the crap
asking,
that they've been teaching these people.
Well, okay.
Someone that is trans has got mental problems.
Well, and speaking of that, I saw a video clip from somebody up in Canada. It's not just LGBTQIA. It's no.
I saw that too. It's like 29 letters long.
What the hell?
I don't know. They've even got them animal people in there that plug the tail up their ass and walk around with the tail hanging out of their pants.
Oh, man. So, okay.
I didn't realize till last year that, and my wife explained to me that how they kept the tail in place. I didn't even know that.
If you care to elaborate, no, I don't want you to elaborate.
I saw them come out of my daughter's school. They had tails. And I was like, oh my God. Then I mentioned it to my wife. She goes, yeah. And then they plug it in their butt. That's how they hold it in place. And I'm like, what? Yeah, I had no idea. But look at the shootings we've had lately, Doug, with the trans.
Yeah.
And people don't want to admit that there's a mental illness. If you reach down between your legs and you don't know what's there, or you're not happy with it, you got a problem. You have a problem. If you go in to get surgery to change yourself like that, you are mentally ill.
But yet we have parents doing that to their children.
Yes, schools. And they have it to where they can endorse this in the school. They can talk to the kid about it. They can help them identify something else, and they don't have to tell the parents.
Okay.
They don't have to tell the parents. But this is a mental illness, man. This is. I don't give a damn who you are. You got to prove me wrong. It's mental illness.
So you folks, you saw that video from 1950. Can you imagine sitting there in those stands and turning to that nicely dressed man next to you and saying, hey, you know what? In 70 years, this country, your kids are going to be walking around with, they're going to be cutting off breasts and dicks and, putting them in jars and making pretend penises out of forearms, skin of forearms.
And Doug, I want them to get help. I want these kids to get help. I really do.
Kids,
adults, whatever. These people need counseling and help.
They need to be, okay. Yes, but the indoctrination that led to this,
I know
has got to go.
that's what's got to stop, and that's hard to me. That's horrible. And then the parents that facilitate it and support it. I understand not wanting to turn your kid, against you and all, but I mean, come on, man, you got to draw some lines somewhere.
Okay. Yeah, but how do you square this? Okay, so what you just saw, I can't even pronounce this woman's name, nor do I want to.
She's a freak.
Chukuda, whatever. I don't friggin' know how to pronounce it. She's on Minneapolis City Council having a cow, right? Oh, yeah. Well, you know what? She's the first Muslim and youngest person ever elected to the council. Oh. And here's the core practical side of that. She was elected in 2020, and what the hell happened to the 2020 election? The most secure election, or the second most secure election, or whatever in history? Just saying.
Election fraud.
Okay. But okay, so how do you square the fact that here's a Muslim, first Muslim?
It's like gays for Palestine.
Yeah, what the hell? What's going on here?
Chickens for KFC.
There you go.
This is the insanity that leads to a communist fall of a country, is all of these groups pairing with each other and pitted against each other. There is no rhyme or reason for what's going on in this nation today, except that Satan is alive and well. That's the only thing I can say for sure. And that God isn't as present as God used to be. That I can say for sure.
100%. It's a God. We have forsaken God, and this is the result.
Mm-hmm. And it started when we started killing babies.
Yes. There was I was doing some research, and my notebook for that is in another room.
I know I've said that before. Doug said that before. We've said that for years on this show. It started when we legalized killing babies.
There was actually a Supreme Court ruling, but I think it was in 1952. And forgive me again, Connecticut, maybe, I don't know, but it had to do with anyway, it led to all of the other decisions, but okay. So, but here's the issue again that we keep coming back to. This country, you know how they say, slow at first and all of a sudden, that's kind of what 4 years under that brain dead Biden reminds me of. Okay. This trickle in these mass invaders into our country is slow at first everything's relative to those 4 years, kind of slow, and then all of a sudden, bam, the gates were open. Mayorkas and Biden were rolling out the red carpet. Michael Yon was shouting from the rooftops. I like Michael. Great guy. Good man. And here we are. UN resettlement program from 1990, from 2000, from 2010. I mean, every 10 years, it seems. So
and we didn't learn anything from looking up north.
Oh, and speaking of up north.
Oh, boy.
Eric the Tech, it would be just under in the show notes, untitled, unnumbered page underneath video 3. Let's talk about up north, and let's talk about what Canada, because see, I have a saying in my life.
Shit rolls downhill.
And you know what? I'm standing right at the bottom. There are people, and folks, you can relate to me. I know. Do you ever have people like in your family, especially your family?
Mm-hmm.
Could be kids, could be sisters, brothers, brother-in-laws, whatever.
In-laws, yeah.
Do you ever have people do certain things or not do things or make decisions that gets that flying crap all over you. Folks in the chat, do you know what I'm talking about? Somebody in your family makes a stupid friggin' decision. The most mind-numbing, god-awful, inexplicable decision. And you're left like picking up pieces, right? Kind of like having a friend, or kind of like hiring somebody and giving them, a company car, giving them a desk, inviting them to your family dinners, moving them across country, paying for all of that, footing the bill, not because you had the money, but just because it's the right thing to do. Only to have them just take that knife and just put it in your back so friggin' hard and twist it and then laugh and say,
I know what you're talking about now. It took me a second. Yeah, all right.
Okay. Yeah. It's kind of like that. As Steve Quells, those closest to you will do you. You do things for other people. That doesn't mean you stop doing things, but that you just be a little bit more cautious.
Right.
But okay. So I liken that to Canada. So Canada, they open their doors too, right? You up there, those people open their doors. So check out page unnamed. Now, the title to this, you just got to love it. Look at the title. I want you to see the title. 4 British hikers. You got that? 4 British hikers caught on Maine's Golden Road after illegally entering the U.S. from Canada. Now, RT, what do you picture?
I personally picture 4 Muslims.
Well, you would. You jaded SOB.
I know.
Right.
That's I know what's going on in Canada.
Look, I saw that and I'm thinking, all right, so, you got a couple of white, or, got 4 white boys, maybe whatever, lost their way.
This is the media liberties. Here we go.
Well, let's just see who they are. You can scroll down on that. I'm going to have to widen you have to widen that screen a little bit, or I'm going to have to widen my screen here. Hang on. There's this. There we go. Okay. British men, Ali Muhammad Ali Abdullah, Hamid Muhammad Najee, Ibrahim Abu or Ayub Khan, and Mohammed Sultan Saleh. Yeah, four British men.
It's all in the presentation. Man.
They just happened to wander over into the U.S. and
they were lost.
They were hiking.
They
were hiking.
No.
You believe that?
Unbelievable, man. But quite believable because that's what's happening. Canada's gone. And what's going on up there with the prime minister and the decisions that are being made, the money being funneled out of the country, it's unbelievable what's happening. And Carney is lining his pockets, and his former company, is benefiting. In fact, everything, rebuilding Ukraine, every time it's turning, and the Chinese are coming in like crazy. I was reading a thing today. Canada has over 2,000, IRGC members living in Canada. The Revolutionary Guard.
Right.
Yeah, living there. And these people came in. No, I can't even really get into this. But I just did the simple searches online. This is not like it's confidential. It's nothing like that.
I think we have 1,850 documented in this country. 1,850
out of what, 350 million. Canada's only got 30 million people.
Yeah,
and the thing is, if you know where to look, all of this is open source. Everything we say on here is open, as far as Canada is open source. I want to be clear on that.
Yes.
Okay. It's open source information. And you get a lot on social media. You got to vet it. But there's a lot of truth on social media on what's happening too. And what we're seeing is really kind of scary. And what I see and what most people are seeing that I listen to or speak with or converse with is an attack on the white middle class. It's
always been that
attack.
way.
Yes, it's under attack, Doug. And it's sad. I have a daughter, okay, that is smarter than 99.99% of the children her age. Guys, she's in high school. She's incredible.
Okay.
She will be the last one to even think about getting a scholarship because she's white.
Okay.
That's no joke.
Because
she's white.
Yep, she's white.
Yep.
Deal with it. Because you don't have enough white. See, that's the problem. You don't have enough white guilt. You don't. You are so baked in white privilege.
Oh yeah, that's me. That's me, baby. Oh yeah.
And folks, please pay attention. If I ever catch anyone using those phrases around me, I'm going to smack you. Okay, I will. I might not win the fight, but I'll get one in. White guilt, white privilege. Don't. Okay, do not screw with the language. Okay.
And then when Trudeau got up there and said that how much he hated and despises the white European settlers.
Oh yeah.
I mean, come on, man. Really?
Yeah.
Are you kidding me?
The colonists, the imperialists,
the things he said, I couldn't believe were coming out of this guy's mouth. Who, incidentally, there was some, and keep an eye on this. Okay, there's some allegations, and this is getting into court now. About, and I sent it to you earlier today.
I saw that
Trudeau being caught with child porn.
Let's see here
on his mobile devices. Apparently by the RCMP.
Yeah, I had a run-in with the RCMP back in.
So this is something that showed up that I saw today. I sent to Doug because we've been covering child porn and all, and human trafficking, and so a lot of things are happening with Trudeau that we didn't understand. Like his wife just left him out of the blue.
Yes,
So you remember that?
I do.
Yeah, they were like the golden couple, you know. Being flouted all over Europe and everything, and then one day she just walked out. Not that I like her, trust her, or care anything about her. Okay, it just seems strange.
You know, RT, that Randy Taylor, by the way, folks, I just want to interject this real quick because if I don't, then it might not get interjected. So, folks, help out Randy Taylor if you so choose. He's obviously he lost both legs within the last 12 months. Why? Because he's got some medical issues, and because of the medical issues, he's a hurting pop financially.
Yeah, just buried in bills.
So, yeah, he's got a recovery fund. Go ahead, say it, and it's also on. It's going to be on the different platforms. So
you go to PayPal.
Yeah.
And all you do is put in rt.recoveryfund@gmail.com. That's rt.recoveryfund@gmail.com. And whatever your heart leads you to give is most appreciated. Because like I said, we're buried in bills here. It put me in the weeds, losing both legs and everything and having the things we had to do to the house just so I could come home from the hospital.
And I'll say this: he's done more for this country than most. So I'm just saying,
it's just unbelievable. We've had a hard time, and just everything's hitting at once. You know.
Yeah.
And like I said, my kid ain't getting any scholarships.
Yeah, you think? All right. So, okay. So, folks, there it is. The link will be at Rumble in the programs. Rumble.
Thank you, and God bless you. The ones that have given, God bless you. I pray for you nightly.
And I pray for you as well. And I'll tell you what, it's a rough time. I know.
But you know what? I'm here and I'm fighting. I am a fighter. Doug's a fighter. And when we talk about taking our country back, we'll be right in the middle of it. You know, we pushed hard. We fought hard just to make sure that Biden didn't get another term in office.
And, you know, look, I can almost respect the opinion, okay, of Alex Jones. Alex, if you're not listening, but Alex, I know my outreach to you, okay, it's just saying, what's going on, man? You know, I mean, I know what's going on.
He's entitled to it, you know. He's entitled to it. Absolutely. We just don't understand where it's coming from.
But that's the key thing. Again, think back to what we were saying, both of us, but on this platform some time ago, there would be a coalition, okay, of influencers, and I use that to include all of, because we're approached to you know, abandon certain principles. And of course, you would never have to worry about, essentially, you wouldn't have to worry about expenses of your operation.
They were golden children. The chosen ones.
Right. No, no, in hell no.
A lot of them were the ones with the white notebooks at the White House.
Yes, they were.
Yeah, hate to say it, but you got to see it on display, and they played right along. Even once they realized they had been played, they still played along. It's like, come on, guys, you got played.
And then there was the obligatory feigned outrage later, but that came a little bit too late. All right,
that was way too late, actually.
Yeah. So Trudeau. There's some talk. I couldn't get to, because I can't go on Facebook, obviously. But Trudeau is in the problem. He's got some problems on that.
Well, when people are quoting RCMP and Toronto Post, and the other thing was people that know anything up there about the tons of money that the federal government dumped into the media during Trudeau's tenure understand why these stories didn't get published, like by the Toronto Star and things like that. And when they start throwing names around, start listening, because it's serious when people start throwing names around. Okay, because there's legal ramifications if they're pulling your leg, and that's very, and especially in Canada, you step on somebody's dress and you get yelled at, you know.
Yeah.
Even if they're a guy. Sorry.
Especially if they're a guy. Yeah. I should add that.
And what I was saying earlier about trans people, though, I look at them like, you know what? They got a soul, and there's a God, and. You know, I pray for them.
Yeah.
I pray for them. But at the same time, it's a mental illness. It needs to be dealt with as such. And those people, I hate to say it, need counseling or some time in a place where someone can help them. But they don't need to be necessarily wandering around the street or like, listen, I've lived in a crazy world. I've seen a crazy world.
But not like this, though. I mean,
I wouldn't even have. I remember when I first ran into a sex change in over in Hawaii in the military at a bar. There was a girl dancing that I thought was a girl, and it was a guy. And these old Hawaiian guys kept saying "mahu, mahu."
Oh,
I had no idea what they were even talking about. This chick was anatomically correct in every detail. Everything. You could see everything because they danced totally nude over there. And I couldn't believe it. It turned out it was a guy. Not that I found out personally, but it was a guy.
Well, when you got that swinging thing
common,
in your face.
But it was funny guy. But no, you would have thought it was a woman until she spoke.
Well, and the individuals who facilitate the doctors, the nurses, the clinics, and you know what? We're giving money to all this.
Who can do that to kids, man? Oh my God, I've seen some of the scars, Doug. What they're doing to these children, they're babies, man. They don't know what they're doing. These kids at 4 and 5 don't need to be indoctrinated with this stuff. And anybody that's doing it should be in prison. Prison.
And how far we've gone to, just one more thing kind of associated with that, is because of the mental health crisis, you have a lot of people who are contemplating suicide or suicide risks. Now in Europe, I think I just saw this, or maybe it was in Canada. I'm not sure. Yeah, it was in Canada. It was in Ontario. Someone testifying. It was a woman saying that if we don't allow, or if we don't pay for the assisted suicide with dignity, then, hey, it's possible these people could commit suicide. I'm listening to this. I'm trying to reconcile this.
Yeah.
What?
They're now allowing it for depression.
Yeah.
Legally, getting away with it. Allowing MAID. It's called MAID.
Right. But we're allowing this.
I know. This is insane. I don't understand this infatuation with death.
Oh, it's
people can't pay their bills. They suggest MAID to them. Really?
Well, due to time constraints, I want to get this in before we sign off here. This is cut to, it's already queued, cut to Eric the Tech. This is, and I promise you, this is what's going to happen if we don't do something. And it's just not going to be against Donald Trump, although they're going after Trump, but they're coming after every single one of us.
Yep.
But here's Carville. Now look, I get it. Okay, I totally get it. But when you listen to people like George Conway, Kellyanne's former husband, and other people, they're all talking like this. So understand, they're coming.
Mm-hmm.
And Kellyanne's a sweet young lady, or now older lady, but sweet lady.
I always liked her.
Yeah, I mean, I got some great pictures with her. And
You talk about somebody that's loyal. That's a loyal individual.
It's her fault.
Her husband was pig's work.
Yeah. Well, I got a really nice pic. I should have queued it up for tonight. But anyway, folks, here's what we can expect. Cut to at the queue. It's already queued, I think, at 181 seconds or something like that. Here it is.
And when the Democrats get back in office in January, they're going right after the corruption, and we're going to know what we're going to do. We're going to find out all the money that it's gone the wrong way, and we're going to have a legal proceeding, and we're going to have what you call a callback. We're going to get to go ahead, get the money, give it back to the people of the United States. But in the meantime, trust no one. Don't ever think that what you say, they're not running to these reporters and leaking it day and night. Don't ever trust your Vice President, J.D. Vance. That's the biggest goddamn mistake you ever made. That sniveling little bastard would turn on anybody. He's already putting out. You're done. They're all lining up behind you. I want you to pay attention to the Indiana State Senate Republican primaries coming up, because you have chosen to intervene, and your Republican number is starting to go down. I hear all these stories about MAGAs were airtight with Trump, blah, blah, blah. No. And once they start to go, they're going. And they're going to go quickly. And you're going to be standing there, but you and Lindsey Graham, and all y'all going to be left to do is smell each other's farts. Because you're done, dude. You're really done. No one fears you anymore. Your own staff doesn't fear you. And, go back and bring Pam Bondi back. That's about what you're up to. All right? But, dude, you and I know something. We got a little secret between me and you. You're done. People hate you. Trust no one. Be as paranoid as you possibly be, because you can't be paranoid enough. Reread the story. They're shitting all over you. Thank you very much.
So, RT,
he's delusional. So I don't understand how people like that how they go to work and make it home each day safely.
He might be delusional, but he's not. Look, this is what's being planned.
Oh yeah.
Okay, so he might be
he's got a huge fan base, but that tells you about delusional people.
Right. So we are going to have to. So either we get ahead of what's coming, or we're going to have to confront what's coming head on. All right.
Yep.
Or we wave the white flag.
No, fix it or kill it, man. One of the two.
Exactly. Eric the Tech, if we can close with this, I just sent it to you. You know what, folks? It's been a rough week for us for a lot of reasons. And
I'll die bleeding before I let the country go into a total communist state. I'm just not having it.
No. And you know what?
That's not happening, buddy. And if that's the trigger that needs to get going, that's cool. You know what?
Yeah.
If God so led me in that direction, I would do it.
Amen to that.
And I mean that. And anybody that knows me knows that I speak the truth. And if I needed to find people to go with me, I would start with Eric and Doug.
And you know what? We'll be right there along with Nomad from X. Okay.
I know you would, buddy.
All right. Let's close this out with kind of a smile, with something that I think people, look, you need this. All right. So Eric the Tech, I just sent you something. It's kind of my favorite thing. And with that, again, thanks for helping out, Randy Taylor. Randy Taylor, thanks for a great week.
Man. Thanks for calling me and inviting me tonight. I appreciate it.
I appreciate you being here, and hey, maybe we can get together next week again, Tuesday or whenever. I don't know.
Cool.
Depends on your schedule. Depends on what happens over the weekend. But folks, look, even in the darkest times, you still have some great friends.
Mm-hmm.
Check this out. Here it is.
You ever wonder why we lose our minds when they walk through that door?
Mm-hmm.
Like every single time, man.
Mm.
Because every time they walk out, it feels like the end of the world.
Yeah.
And every time they come back, it feels like it starts again.
Yeah.
When they leave, it's quiet. You try to nap, pretend you're fine.
Right.
But your chest feels heavy.
Right.
Like, what if they don't come back this time?
And then you hear it, the key, the steps, that sound, man, it hits harder than a bag of treats.
That's when everything changes. The whole world smells like home again. Your heart starts racing, and suddenly you're not alone anymore.
I swear, I don't even think. My body just, boom, launches at them like I got jet boosters in my paws.
People think it's excitement, but it's not just that. It's relief. It's love. It's you came back. You didn't just walk in the door. You saved the day.
Mm-hmm.
Again. So next time we jump and spin and won't calm down, don't brush it off. That's not crazy. That's love trying to catch its breath.
Mm-hmm.
Every time you come home, to us, it's the best day ever.